Awesome Sprinkles.
Hey YouTube, Awesome Rider here, coming at you with some more crazy Power Rangers news. You know, yesterday we got the news about Play School being able to make kids' toys after they were licensed by Hasbro, and now we've got some comic news, which is the fact that the comics are actually finally ending after 8 years on July 31st with the conclusion of the Darkest Hour event. There was an article, a couple different articles that came out about it that initially was a little bit vague. Not vague, but it was like confusing the way it was worded, because they're talking a lot about the conclusion to Darkest Hour, and all that language about the conclusion of this arc got kind of like jumbled up with the conclusion of the overall story. So I'm like, wait, is it ending or not? And then I saw this tweet from Flores that certainly made it seem more final. And then finally, Boom's official Twitter account tweeted out that's the end of the 8-year comic, so that confirms it. Because I was going to make a video, and I was kind of just, I wasn't feeling like recording because I've been doing a bunch of recording. And I was like, let me wait a little bit, I'll record later. And I'm glad I did, because I was pretty sure that it was ending based on the article, but the language was so confusing. So the end of the Darkest Hour event is going to end with one of those kind of like ending event issues, kind of like Shattered Grid did on July 31st, and that will be the end of the 8-year main mmpr comic run, and presumably the overall Boom Studio Comics run for now, which I'm like equally surprised by and not, because we are in this very dormant period, which is very much so a low point for the Power Rangers franchise, but also didn't feel too dissimilar from other franchises where you might have this quiet period where you don't have any movies or shows or anything, but you kind of have an ongoing comic, maybe some toys from other companies here and there, and that's kind of what that felt like. It felt like kind of like a sad era, but I wasn't overly upset about it, because I'm like, this is kind of par for the course for other franchises, and I assumed they might want to keep the comics going a little bit longer because of that. And obviously, if you know my channel, you know I'm a big fan of the comics. For me, they're far and away the best Power Rangers stories ever told, far better than the show's ever been in, for me personally. You know, probably that and the 2017 movie are my two favorite PR stories. I just love what they've done with the comics. It's not always perfect, but you know, I've always loved the very interesting superhero universe that Power Rangers has built with this crazy amalgam of all these different things, and I've always seen such potential in it, and it's one of the very few things that I feel took advantage of that and brought it to life as a real deal superhero comic with a fleshed out universe with thought put into it. You know, I've been thinking of it as the main universe in my head for years now, because it's the only one that's had like a consistent thought put into it, like over the course of time. You know, not that they haven't put effort into the shows at various points, but it's very much one and done, and there's very little thought to like, how does this all fit together? It's just kind of like, who cares? So it was like the only version of the universe that had consistent thought and quality put into it. And you know, even the lower points, there's been things that I've really enjoyed about it. So I'll definitely be sad to see it go, because it's my favorite version of the universe, what I consider to be the main version of the universe. For me, again, for my headcanon and stuff like that. But also, you know, it was nice to be able to have PR stories continuing while we waited for whatever comes next and stuff like that. And it was, you know, nice to cover it. It was not always my bigger performer. Usually it was only when there was major news or stuff. But it was like one of the few things I covered that didn't feel like homework when it came out. Like, you know, Sentai comes out a Rider, I'm like, oh yeah, I got homework to do. But a comic would come out, and like, obviously I would know I'd have to film a video, but I was excited to see what happened next and see what they would add to the universe and all that stuff. Like, as of this recording, it definitely seems like the overall end for the Boom stuff. I mean, who knows, between now and then they could announce something like, hey, the contract's still up and we might put something out every now and then, or hey, we're going to do a refresher. Who knows? I would be shocked if this meant that they were moving on to Zeo. I would be shocked. I'm never going to say never, because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, when you say that when it comes to PR, as a franchise, they've been known to throw us plot twists, so who knows? They could announce, we're going to do Turbo or Zeo or whatever. I doubt it. Again, I'd be shocked. But I highly doubt that's what's going to happen. I get a feeling that this is the end for now for Power Rangers comics. If Boom ever picks it up again, I get a feeling it'll just be more MMPR, likely a reboot or a soft reboot, or, you know, also likely maybe the license will go to a different comic production company, and then again, likely more MMPR. I would be shocked if we did something else in another season, unless they do some sort of reboot tie-in, if they ever do a reboot or decide to do something original, which again, I would also be shocked. I think that any future comic content, whether it be from Boom or someone else, will be MMPR related primarily. So I'd be shocked if anything else happened differently with that. But yeah, definitely some sad news. Again, it was a good run though, definitely a good run, and this storyline makes a lot of sense. You know, it's very much a culmination. I've commented in almost every review I've done, not just of Darkest Hour, but of the run leading up to it, of how this series of stories has really taken advantage of almost everything that's been introduced so far, not just in the main Power Rangers run and Go-Go Power Rangers, but also in like the side stories like Universe and stuff like that, even Hyperforce. So it feels like a right story to end it on. Definitely disappointed we won't see more stories. I was always eager to see them break free a little bit, because obviously while they are off book because they're in a different universe, and then, the universe changed post Shattered Grid, they also always kind of kept it in line with the loose events from the show, and I was kind of hoping for a future where they just went totally wild, because there's no reason to follow those tent poles. And, even though I wanted to see them break free and you don't have to, like on the other side of the coin, you don't have to follow the show, I would have been interested to see season 3 period stories, what they might do with Ninjor and the Alien Rangers and that mythology, because it was always kind of like the enhanced, better version of whatever was introduced in the show, because it was actually thought out. So I'm definitely disappointed we probably won't see that. But I will continue to cover, the rest of the events. I'll probably do some topic-related videos around maybe some of my favorite comic characters, designs, or stories as we get closer. I thought about doing something almost immediately, but there's a lot of news this week. In fact, this video is going to be dropping in the evening when I already had another video come out. Ordinarily, I would wait for tomorrow, but it's kind of a packed schedule this week because I had a couple different reviews or videos coming out about this Play School news. Also, there's some Sentai news dropping tomorrow morning. I mean, like, the news already dropped, but my video's dropping on it. And then, obviously, I still have to do this week's Boom Boonja review, so I'm not even going to look at the comments on this one for a while, because I know those toxic anti-comic fans are going to be in there being like, it's fan fiction. I don't know. You don't have to like it, but does it make you feel better to discredit it? I don't know. But yeah, I will always hold a special place in my heart for the comics. Definitely sad to see it go, but it was a good run. Hopefully it has a strong finish. But what do you guys think? Are you sad to see the comic go? Would you like to see it continue for longer? If it were to continue in the future, what would you like to see? I'm sure most people are going to say, another season like Zeo and stuff, but would you want to see Boom sort of reboot it in a few years down the road if they ever decide to come back with comics and start over with some MMPR stuff? Or would you like to see another studio get a crack at it? I do kind of hope we still could get some maybe crossover comics here and there. Like right now we still have that ongoing Godzilla comic, so even if like there's no main series, I hope that there's a chance we could still get maybe like a third TMNT crossover or other property crossovers, just to have something here and there. But would you like to see that? Let me know in the comments as well. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.